few days ago, I did a video called The Story, and what it has to do with is a hypothetical theory of mine that what has happened to us in the last 4 years. Now, I wanted to put into more details on how they did this to us, and also why they did this to us. So let's start off with the hoax. The hoax of 2020 to the end of 2019, 2020, when the COVID-19 hit the world.
China has identified the cause of a mysterious new virus.
Coronavirus.
There are fears a rapidly spreading virus has reached Australia.
This is a rapidly emerging situation. There is not a cause for alarm.
The first US case has been detected.
There's confirmation the coronavirus has reached Australia.
China is urging its citizens not to travel abroad as it struggles to contain the virus.
We will be standing up Christmas Island as a quarantine area.
Foreign nationals coming from China are now banned from entering the country.
I have today declared that the coronavirus presents a public health emergency in the United States.
And all the bullshit that went along with it. Everybody was scared. Nobody knew what it was. A lot of people were shitting their bricks. I was sick at the time, so when I got better, I thought, I don't really care. I'm not staying inside and doing all that shit. So as it progresses on, the COVID-19 goes along through the year. Everybody's scared. And they're all anticipating a vaccine. Then, finally, the vaccine rollout happens. The vaccine rollout comes out. People are lining up to get the shots. Not me, man. There's no way. I wasn't getting no shots. I didn't get shots before. I'm getting a shot now. Everything seemed a little hokey with what was going on, so I said no way. What I wanted to talk about were the weird things and anomalies that started to occur after the vaccines rolled out. First, people start getting the magnetic anomaly, where people are getting stuck. Their magnetics were sticking to their arm. They have little magnets, and they were sticking to their arms, sticking to their foreheads. You know, they tried to cover it up, say it was all a hoax, just misinformation. But me, myself, I tested it out with people that I knew that got the vaccine. And yes, it stuck to their arm. And yes, it stuck to their forehead a few weeks later. So this shit was moving around in there, making them magnetic. So then I started really researching into this more and more. I had an idea what was happening before, but I just let things play out and wanted to see if I was correct. So the next thing that occurred was, I started seeing rogue scientists and people stating that there was weird things going on with the shots. Something weird inside the shots, right? And the first thing was, everybody was talking about was graphene oxide. Now we have the graphene oxide, and people are saying, how the hell can you put graphene oxide inside a person? Well, they used hydrogel. And hydrogel basically shuts down little parts of your immune system so they can put foreign objects in your body. So, that's crazy enough as it is. So they got the graphene oxide in there. Nobody knows why yet. Some people are just saying, oh, they just want to kill everybody. I knew that's not what it was. I tried to tell people, but they didn't listen to me. Some people were freaked out. So then we got the blood clots starting to happen. Now the blood clots, people were getting micro blood clots, and they did tests for it. And I seen scientists and doctors getting fired for doing these tests and saying that they're finding, these anomalies inside people and getting micro blood clots, and those were true. We all know that. And then we started getting people dying, young people having myocarditis, right? And other heart problems. And they came up with a new term, died suddenly. What a crock of shit that was. Anyways, moving on. Then we have then we have the Bluetooth stuff that was going on. Some people were saying that they were picking up MAC addresses, which is the Bluetooth address of a device when there was no devices around, and they put together 2 and 2 that people were emitting Bluetooth signals from people.
A signal.
Anyone who's taken an injection.
Yeah, and so here's an interesting experiment that was done in France. So a French research team stopped random volunteers in a park. They separated them into groups of vaccinated and non-vaccinated. Then they were tested with their laptops Bluetooth, and the vaccinated were registering an unnamed MAC address as each were called near from the field.
Now, I don't know how many people know about that, but on this, I'm assuming that a lot of people knew about it or know about it now. So then I was like, well, okay, there's some crazy stuff going on here. And then they started discovering that there was nanotechnology that was self-assembling itself inside the human body from the shots, consisting of graphene oxide and other types of metals and other types of material, creating what looked like nanochips, computer chips, miniaturized, going throughout the body. So, everybody assumed, they're gonna, they're putting technology inside of us. They want to track us. They want to do all this other type of stuff. It's almost that. I'll get to that point. I'll tell you what it is soon. Then we get to the eggs.
He was looking within the saline solution and finding eggs. And the eggs, when they hatched, they basically came in and started to eat the carbon which they had laid for these beans. So the beans that are actually cashing out are like the Matrix. They have like a head and they have 3 long tails. So we basically showed pictures of them.
Carbon is an organic material. Aluminum is not. This is a combination of a sort of metallic, carbon. I don't know where it gets its ability to multiply. He's talked about the fact that the actual size of these organisms, I'm going to call it an organism. Dr. Madej called it a creature because it seemed to be moving on its own.
Now, the weird part about it was that some of these scientists that were looking into this discovered that this life form was aluminum carbon based, and that it was eating the graphene oxide. So the graphene oxide was food for this life form that they put inside the shots, and this life form is like nowhere on Earth. Nobody knows about this thing. It's basically an alien life form. Somebody termed it the Thing, and that was crazy. That's crazy. Why would they do that? The technology, an alien life form. What's going on here? So you guys know I'm into the paranormal, right? I'm into interdimensional beings and all this other stuff. And I put this together a long time ago in the beginning of what was going on, and I knew this was their plan. This was all their plan set up for them. See, these interdimensional beings are these reptilian, or some people call them demons, right? They've had access to certain people on this planet, the elites. A snake blue bloodline, blue bloodline, what they called it. Certain individuals, or some people that accepted these things inside of them to control them, right? It's been around for a while. We all know about, anybody that's in this type of stuff, looking up this type of stuff, knows about this, that they, you know, they were able to influence and enter certain people and control them.
I'm saying these things out of love for my fellow humans. The shot is not medicine. It is an intra-body nano network administered through. What they're finding in people are not blood clots. It is self-assembling, self-replicating nanotechnology. Lipid nanoparticles that have been modified on a molecular level, wrapped in pegylation, polyethylene glycol, one of the components that can be used to make hydrogel. The lipid particles are modified to be more sensitive to heat and frequency. When placed in the human body, they become excited from the heat. In that excitement, they vibrate. With that excitement, magnetofection is created, and the particles slowly drift towards each other, hence self-assembling. This intrabody nano network is the first step to make the human body a device linked into the Internet of Bodies.
They needed to put into place this technology, this nanotechnology, that's basically making people like the Borg or transhumans. So they have technology inside them. They needed this in them. And this form of nanotechnology now is basically a computer control system, which has Wi-Fi basically built in. And now that these people have this technology in them, they've told us that they wanted to do this in like 10, 15 years from now, but they did it already. And this computer control system is similar to like what you have in your car, or maybe like a Tesla. You know, everything's run on the computer. They're gonna control the people's bodies with a computer system wirelessly. And one of the things they needed in place at the same time or just before was Starlink. Right? Starlink is this. We know what Starlink is. It's going to be around the entire planet. They're almost complete. Full global coverage of internet, but this is a two-way street. They need this to send a signal down to these people to control them. Now, my belief is this control system goes back to Rome, Italy, the Vatican, Jesuits, these higher ups, and they're going to have control over this. Now, that's only one part of it. What about the eggs? What about this life form? Now, this life form is part of the reptilian owl interdimensional race. Now, this interdimensional race exists physically as well, just in another dimension. They can't exist here properly because of our light, infrared light, all this certain things that was put in place here. But how it works is these life forms or parasites are a gateway, as I mentioned earlier in a different video. They are seeds. Everybody has been seeded with these things, and this lets these owl interdimensional race, reptilian race, come in and easily control the person like they did to the elites. Now, that's pretty freaky shit. And I'm not here to scare everybody, but what I want, all I'm trying to do is tell you what I believe to be true from all my research and some other people's research, and putting this all together and what their plan is. Now, from my understanding, it's not finished yet. There's still a few more steps in this plan. They haven't started taking people over yet. They haven't done that yet. But let's just say I heard that certain things have to happen. Something possibly to do with a war. Something about passing new laws. And there's one more component to this before they can take hold. So, I know it sounds crazy, yet these things have this plan. One of the things is I also noticed that nobody talks about these parasites. You know, they don't realize what they are. They don't see the paranormal side to it. They don't see the spiritual side to it. They don't see the other dimensional side to it on how this works. You have to look at the whole picture and the whole spectrum. Not just the simple they want to kill us. It's not just as simple as they want to control us or track us. This is about this race wanting control and being able to enter the people. Kind of like a possession. They can't exist here physically properly. Possibly in the future, if they want to change things with the sky, change things with the light. But I think they're on a timetable. And the time is running short for them. That's why everything is going so fast. They want everything in place soon, fast. And the reason why is because the other thing that I research and I talk about is the one's light, the prime source is out there. And I've heard there's a battle going on. And they need their shit in place to try to stop when the one actually gets here. When he breaks through their net that they have around this planet and around this area of space. Things are moving fast. They got there now. I know it sounds crazy, but out of all the people I've listened to and all the research I've done and how I do my research, I believe this to be true. I wish I knew the next steps, exactly what they were, but I don't. But yes, there has to be a war. There has to be a law. And, you know, I've heard different things about something in the sky, something about a second sun, something about something out there, a ship maybe, something weird going on. And this may have something to do with next part of their plan that they have to put in place real soon. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. You know, I hope nothing happens bad. That's what my most thoughts are on this. So I'm just going to keep an eye open. I'm going to keep doing my videos. I'm going to keep covering what I can. But I wanted to let everybody know about this theory, why this happened, and who did it.